Yeah, I am ready. So yeah, I am Fallen Ultima, and I run Rise of the Tomb Raider any percent on console, Xbox One specifically. And so I am ready. If we are good to go.
Yep, let me know when to start timer.
Okay. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so yes, this is Rise of the Tomb Raider, and again I'm playing on console, which is slightly different than PC, but I'll get into the specifics a bit later when we have downtime, because pretty quickly, right off the bat, we'll break the game quite thoroughly. If you saw Genesis's run of Rise earlier in the marathon, then you'll know what to expect.
Good old intro skip.
Yep.
The worst skip in the entire game for 100%, but only the second worst for any percent.
Yeah, so this area is just basically kind of tutorial stuff, you know.
They teach you how to climb walls, out of vault ledges.
Yeah, but that's slow, and we're gonna skip it.
It's almost like that's what I said. Yeah, they tell us to do this, but it's slow, so we're gonna do this instead. So on PC, there is another method to getting out of bounds that involves airwalking that I never did.
But I think I do the cooler method, so I'm just gonna take a leap of faith here.
I mean, we both do skywalks. Yours isn't necessarily cooler.
And I'm just gonna fly across the mountain like that. And we're out of bounds now, in case you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, Lara just took some skydiving training. She took it a bit too seriously. Oof.
So this is just a sneak peek of what this run kind of entails. Okay, I didn't get the rare console crash. That's gonna happen one time during a marathon. You can get a crash like just randomly right there, and apparently it's only
crash at the top of Mountain Peak. Accommodate for the crash I didn't get.
So we're just basically navigating the intro out of bounds, though.
Yeah, which you're not going to see Piku do later in the run or marathon, because I don't think he did. No, he did do it already. Never mind, he did it earlier.
So yeah, at the end of this out of bounds, you actually can get a crash. And actually, Genesis did get a crash, so am I going to keep up the streak and get a crash as well? We'll see.
I hope so. Because that would be awesome.
Coming up on the end very shortly.
Intro skip isn't that long, but it can be very difficult to execute.
Yeah, it's actually very dangerous too, because if you die, you end up respawning back in bounds. So
if you die after the checkpoint, you actually have to reload the entire game. You have to start over.
All right, and the game could crash right here. Oh, it didn't crash.
Aw, man. What a bummer. Oh, hey, you did it this time.
Yep.
It's much faster, isn't it?
All right, well, that's perfect for my estimate, because my estimate does take into account a crash. So since I didn't get a crash, I would have lost like a minute and a half maybe. So we're gonna be even further.
3 times. So the thing I mentioned that Fallen did is that when Lara falls onto that ledge, she'll enter an animation where she has only one axe equipped, and you have to mash the other button, and then she has another animation for bringing the other axe onto the wall. If you just drop off the wall and re-grab onto it, she just goes into normal attachment, which is much, much faster than waiting for like those 3 seconds of animations to play. So, generally, a good idea.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to say I don't have my splits up because I kind of forgot to. This was kind of a last minute thing apparently, but oh well. I don't need splits. I was gonna use splits just to see kind of what pace I'm on, but eh.
Well, who knows? You might get a new world record.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if I get world record.
I mean,
yeah, it's probably not that cool, but
we'll find out. I mean, remember, it's real-time based, so we'll know exactly when the run is over if you beat it or not.
That is true.
We're just gonna have to we're not gonna have the extra second judgment. So, or the milliseconds, centiseconds. Sorry, they're centiseconds.
Also, neat little skip there. I was supposed to press X, but I didn't need. Well, you don't have to. you can just instantly go to the wall. You would press X to kind of save yourself from falling to your death, but you could just hold left. And that is intro.
Hooray. Intro is very easy. The second half of intro is after you do the skip. But no, the skip is very difficult.
So yeah, a couple of things about console versus PC. The kind of the route differences. PC, they run the game at 100 FPS, and console is only at 30 FPS. And that basically just means they can do different out of bounds in a... Well, we do pretty much the same exact out of bounds as they do, but they can do it slightly differently. And that's just due to the higher frame rate that they have. But the overall route is generally the same. I might just be doing an out of bounds in a slightly different manner.
Yeah, he's going to be doing it in a much more interesting way.
Again, I think the Skywalk out of bounds that I just did is cooler than the PC version. But, you know.
I think the airwalk is cooler, and it's also much, much faster.
It's not that much faster. Well, definitely not RTA, but...
No, but in the actual timing method, it's faster.
If we're talking real time, then it's not much faster, but in-game time, yeah, probably a little bit. So unfortunately, I feel like this is probably the most boring part of the run. I'm not really a fan of Syria.
Nobody likes Syria.
Could this really be it?
But
Syria is hated almost as much as Orrery and Glitchless. Oh, that was terrible. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Oh, you're good. I mean, what are we doing? We're just walking slowly at Syria.
Yeah, see, in 100% Syria is awesome. Because we get to break it a bunch until the very end when you have to do both of the ending skips.
A secret entrance.
Okay, Mari, it might have been good in other games. In this one, it sucks. Syria's terrible in this game. Because it's just more tutorials.
You didn't get the flying scorpions, correct, in your run?
No, my run was not blessed, which is why I didn't get world record.
Yeah, so coming up in this cave that I'm about to enter, you can get some flying scorpions, and that will bless the run.
Yeah, the reason I didn't get the world record is because my run was not blessed.
Also, right here, I'm gonna attempt to skip a small cutscene by jumping under the cutscene trigger. So I'm gonna do a weird thing. Okay, and there we go. So jumping to that line, typically you'll activate a cutscene, but you can actually just jump underneath it, and you'll skip it.
So, yeah, they put the cutscene trigger very high into the air because they expect you to just jump straight forward. But if you hover in the air for just a second, you can actually just go underneath the cutscene trigger. Because the cutscene trigger is completely over the ledge. And so if you just go underneath it, it just skips it. It works great.
So this is the cave where we can see some floating scorpions, potentially. It'll be after the pretty scary jump scare.
Yeah, I was unlucky enough to not have them bless my run. Even though the last, 6 before that had been blessed.
Damn it.
Which is really unfortunate.
Alright, so if we just look ahead and a little bit to the right, we could see some scorpions flying, maybe.
Let's see, are you blessed?
No, not even close. Not a single one was moving. It didn't look like a single scorpion was even moving. Oh well.
Straight down. If it had continued straight down, it would have been blessed.
Oh, did Piku get a flying scorpion? I didn't catch his run.
I wasn't here. I was asleep. It was at 5:30 for me. I was not going to stay awake overnight. I slept for 12 hours, so no, I didn't check.
The Order of Trinity.
Oh well. Maybe next marathon.
That was too close.
Hopefully.
So there is a way to skip this part, but it's kind of inconsistent with the way you get out of bounds. Sometimes it can take a bit of time to actually do, but I really
good. Your aim is more potato than me. I approve.
that That's the hardest target to hit. But I was actually practicing the trick because I was debating on whether or not I should do it, but I don't know. I'm not confident enough in it. I'll do it next
Yeah.
marathon.
It's why I don't do trap skip either, because I don't like doing it. It's too volatile.
It also saves like maybe 20, 30 seconds.
On PC, it saves 20 seconds, which means if you do it perfectly, it saves you about 20 to 25 seconds.
Yeah, it's not
But
that.
you've got to do it perfectly. If you mess up even a little bit, you're just done for.
And it's actually pretty precise too. Like the out of bounds movement, it's very easy to fall into the void.
Fall into the void, fall into the water. If you land in any of that stuff too early, you just lose a ton of time, or sometimes even just have to restart.
Best trick coming up, the ninja jump. If I can get it.
You're gonna get the super?
Yes.
Stunning. We made it, Dad.
So right there, I kind of just jumped in at a precise time, and I was able to fly across the map. And right there, when I just meleeed up the slope, I'm actually skipping a water puzzle. So yeah, we didn't even need to do the puzzle.
It's a really tedious water puzzle that requires you to open a wall and then jump onto a platform to make waterfall. It's very slow.
And right here,
It's
I'm
the
actually
worst part of doing this glitchless.
Nice. And that's another puzzle skip.
You
even
got
do
tree jump? Nice. Yeah, it took me like 4 tries to get tree jump. It was so sad.
All right, so we're gonna kind of blow up this tomb.
No. We don't blow it up. Trinity does. It's not our fault.
We do press the button though. But anyway,
Okay.
we're gonna.
But Trinity was the one who took the bombs. But they were
Yeah, we're gonna escape this area pretty quickly. We're gonna do a sort of out of bounds, but not really out of bounds.
It is an out of bounds, but they choose to not call it an out of bounds because it's still technically within the allotted play space. So we're out of bounds right now, technically. The fact that this has collision is pretty bad. It shouldn't have. None of this should have collision.
And I actually failed that in the last marathon, so we are on marathon PB pace, guys.
Woo!
All right, there we go. And that's Syria.
What's this?
Indeed. There we go. Also, Shadow is now finished, which means that everything should be 100% less laggy for me now.
Jonah?
No, it runs at 30 FPS. I don't know about Xbox One X.
It's still 30. The game runs on 30 on all consoles. They didn't change it for the One X release. Because the Xbox One release always runs at 30 FPS. And so even the X doesn't increase it to 30. Or doesn't increase it to 60. So on all consoles it's 30. On PC it's directly linked to however good your computer is. Like I said, for glitched runs we lock it at 100 so that everyone has a fair shot at running the game.
So interesting side effect about doing the intro skip. You can see Lara's hair is just phasing through the hood of her jacket.
Yeah,
And
we skip the
thing is,
oh, sorry.
yeah, the jacket hood actually isn't supposed to be up because we do skip a cutscene where she takes her hood down. So for some reason that transfers over into Siberian wilderness.
Well, no, it's because the model's kept there, but it's also told that her ponytail should be out.
Right. Which I wouldn't even understand really why you would have your hood down here in the first place, but whatever. So after this section is when it's going to start picking up again. We're going to be doing glitch after glitch.
Not enough to last the night. Need to gather more.
So a big game-breaking glitch we use is wall clipping, and we do that by we aim with our weapon, and on some geometry we can actually clip through. If we aim with our weapon and back scramble into that geometry, and we can clip through walls and get out of bounds using that method. And so I'm going to be doing that the first example shortly. But right here at this campfire, I am going to be learning how to jump roll, which is actually the fastest way to travel on foot.
Yeah, but walking through the deep snow is a bad idea.
And it's true in real life. If you jump and roll, it's faster than actually sprinting.
Doesn't matter your stamina, because Lara has infinite stamina.
So we know how to jump roll now.
Yeah,
And
it's
now
the fastest form of movement, hands down.
it works in real life too. I've tried it. Get the
How
dialogue skip.
effective was that for you? You got dialogue skip?
No, I choked, but whatever. That's like maybe 3 seconds at most. I don't know. Not a lot.
Dialogue skip?
Yeah, it's not a big time save.
It saves 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't save 3 because you're continuously moving. And so there aren't any changes otherwise. Besides maintaining full move speed.
So if you saw Genesis's run, he fights the bear with poison arrows, but we're gonna skip the bear.
Yeah, they skipped the best weapon in the game. It's really unfortunate.
And this skip I'm gonna do actually saves a bunch of time casually.
Oh yeah, no, because you skip the entire glacial cavern and all of the stuff to get the poison arrows. It just means you don't ever get the poison arrows, which is fine, but they're the best weapon in the game. Because they one-shot every single enemy in the game except for Constantine, bears, and flamethrower enemies. Everything else dies if they're in the poison cloud.
Got to bind this wound.
So we're supposed to pick up
trivializes some boss fights, which is pretty great.
We're supposed to pick up these healing leaves, but we don't actually need to. We're gonna go leafless.
The game has soft lock protection.
Yeah, so we can just go
strictly for that. Which is, it's really nice that the devs thought of that.
An abandoned Cold War installation.
Okay, nice. I got 3 cloth. You can get 2 cloth out of that crate, and if I got 2, I would need to pick up cloth somewhere else along the way. But right here is where I'm gonna get out of bounds, and I'm gonna do that clipping method that I mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna jump behind these trees, not die. Whoops.
Aww. Okay, so I'm gonna explain a little bit more about the soft lock protection. So you're intended to pick up the herbs, at least the 2 of them. You're intended to pick up at least 1, but because the game enters like a special cutscene when you pick up the cloth box, in order to prevent the player from soft locking, the game automatically gives you an herb if you don't have one, so that you can still do the healing just in case. Because that would be a really crappy way to soft lock, because you just didn't pick up the herbs when the game told you to. So they put in that little bit of protection, which allows us to avoid the long pickup animation of the herbs.
Alright, so I had to backtrack a little bit to hit a trigger, and that skips the entirety of the back half of the Siberian Wilderness and the Glacial Cavern.
Which is just a 2-minute run through as quickly as you can.
Alright, so we were in bounds for approximately 10 seconds, but we don't like being in bounds, so we're just gonna jump out of bounds right here.
Being in bounds is slow.
That's by far the easiest out of bounds that you can do. Like, you literally just jump. You could give the controller to a casual player and you just be like, jump here, and
Actually,
you'll be.
No, you have to be careful because there are a couple of
death lanes, but it's a pretty easy out of bounds.
It's not the easiest, but it is pretty simple.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, no, it is pretty easy.
Oh, nice throw.
It's not the hardest thing, but it's also not necessarily. Oh, wow, that was a legendary throw. You actually still hit it though with one of the random sprays. But like, damn, that's swag points. Doesn't even need to hit the thing.
Nice shots.
Oh yeah, you can't roll through the glass.
Yeah, That's one slight difference. It's actually impossible to do on console. Most of the out of bounds that PC does, you can actually do on console, but it can be like really inconsistent. There are only a few things that are straight up impossible to do on console. One of them being you can roll through some walls.
You can't do that. You can't do up clips on console.
Well, you can. There are actually some places you can do, like the abandoned mines. You can actually do that one, but again, it's incredibly inconsistent. I think I've only ever gotten it like twice in my life. Don't mind that I just jumped through that fence, by the way. All right, so I'm gonna do kind of a cool strat. We're gonna do a melee slide to get out of bounds. This is basically I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna try it? Oh, let's go! I actually haven't seen you do this in action yet.
Jumping on the roof is the hardest part of the trick, I swear. Okay, there we go.
I know. So I haven't seen him do this in action yet, but the whole goal is to get on top of the roof, and he does a melee slide, which is activated by doing a melee attack. And then on the last frame of the melee animation, you aim, and that kind of makes the game glitch out. And so Lara will then slide, hence why it's called a melee slide, and she will be immune to fall damage. The only thing that she will be affected by is terrain colliders and death planes.
Yeah, so essentially a melee slide in that case really just gives me like a double jump without the melee slide, but it's incredibly risky and it's actually really difficult.
It's very hard. And actually, the fact is doing that trick is also very precise, so... But it saves a lot of time if you get it. I think on your other method, it saves like 8 or 9 seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
So, he just got a huge boost in his current time, but it's also a very precise and difficult trick to do.
All right, so right here is the prison break. There are a couple things that are different with PC and console, and it's the way we get out of bounds. And the way we get out of bounds, it actually affects later things in the run, but it's not a super big deal. It mainly just affects like cloth counts.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
So the difference is what PC does is as soon as he opens this passageway and we get the bow back, on PC you do a very precise and what is widely accepted to be the hardest trick in any percent glitched is an upclip in this room where you're not allowed to scramble and you have to do the upclip by aiming and then canceling aim and then re-aiming. And which means you don't get any of your resources because when Lara gets thrown into the jail cell, you lose all your resources until you get out of the cell. Then Lara gets all of them back except for ammo, regular ammo. Sorry, she gets special arrows. So any poison arrows you had, you get back. But you don't get any pistol ammo or any of your arrows, regular arrows back.
Yeah, and so on console, since we do break out of the cell, we are going to get all of our equipment back. And because of that, I'm actually able to skip the Moon Shadow pistol, which PC actually needs to take the time to pick up. So that's one advantage that console actually has over PC. So I will be skipping the only one.
So the upclip for PC will put them on the upper ledge right after he climbed the ladder. It would put them right next to those boards, and they do that from the room where you got the bow, which is quite a bit faster. Oh, thank you, Bearded Boggle, for the raid.
Thanks for the raid. Pog.
To raid. So yeah, that's the main difference between the PC method and the console method. But they do the effect. They effectively do the same clip in the same place. All of this also to complete this area is also identical. I guess it wasn't mentioned, but he clipped through double doors. And it's really hard to clip through double doors. Even though realistically, watching it, it doesn't look that hard. In practice, it's difficult. He also skipped the assault rifle and the explosive cans. They're effectively stun grenades. He skipped them by doing that out of bounds. And then where he jumped through, he jumped by afterwards. He's going to go ahead and just clip through this fence, because if you go through the fence normally, it initiates combat, and he has no ammo, so that's a bad idea. And then, because these doors are supposed to open after combat, he's just going to go through the fence. And
I'm actually going to loot these guys to hopefully get cloth. Oh, wait, I actually have cloth. Never mind, I don't need to. Never mind, continue.
It's fine.
But I will be picking up an extra healing leaf just
And
for
you need the
safety.
Don't you need the wood? Oh, wait, no, you guys don't care about wood. I forgot. On console, you don't care about wood. On PC,
Well,
we do.
I actually have... I have 2 pieces of wood right now, which will not let me have... it'll only let me craft 5 arrows in total. So I actually am probably going to end up picking up extra wood, just so I can have extra arrows. But we'll see.
So, to make arrows, you need wood and feathers. You need 2 wood and a feather to make 5 arrows. If you get, I believe it's rapid... No, it's not rapid crafting. If you get arrow retrieval, you make 7 arrows instead of 5. I think it's arrow retrieval that makes 7. I always forget which skill it is, because it's not rapid crafting. I think it's arrow retrieval. Does that sound right?
I don't know. I can't even remember the last time I played this game casually.
Well, no, I'm saying for 100% as well, because we pick it up. Eventually, when we get to Geothermal Valley, we make 7 arrows with any batch. I don't remember what the skill is, but you get one of the skills, and it will make 7 arrows and 3 special arrows instead of 5 and 2. So effectively turns all your arrows into be more effective. I think it's arrow retrieval, but I can't be certain. I think it's arrow retrieval. Yeah, so with those skills, it allows you to make more arrows, but on console, it doesn't really matter. But on PC, you do need to make sure you get that extra wood, because it takes 2 wood and 1 feather to make a set of arrows, which is funny because using 2 wood and 1 feather somehow makes 5 feathered arrows. Which
Just take off some of the feather hairs.
Well, remember, she also gets 1 feather from looting an entire nest of feathers. So I doubt it's actually a singular feather and more like a batch of feathers. Whatever a batch is. But I also don't know how you more accurately use feathers.
Alright, so coming up, I'm going to do another huge skip. I'm going to be doing a skywalk. If you remember the very first trick I did, where I just like... Oh, shout out to that guy, by the way.
Are you there?
I forgot to turn off notifications, great. Alright, well, whatever.
Cesaro7, shout out in the middle of a marathon. Don't even know who you are, but
I'll be
shout
sure
out.
to send him a message and be like, hey, you were showcased in the marathon. But yeah, so the first trick I did, the skywalk, where I kind of flew across the mountain, where I'm gonna be doing that again, but this skywalk's gonna be much longer and much more extended.
And much harder.
I don't know.
This skywalk is really important that you get everything correct.
It
Like,
is
if you
important.
get your camera angle off even slightly, you're gonna hit a death plane. This skywalk is really important to get properly.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna kind of work my way through the trees. I'm out of bounds right now, by the way.
I should probably explain how a skywalk works, because that hasn't been explained yet.
Yeah.
Pretty much, the way a skywalk works is if Lara is facing a wall, or a slippery slope, which is what we call them, and for some reason, if you double tap in the direction opposite of where she's facing, then she will just enter this... She will be stuck in the falling animation, and you can just freely go up the slopes. So if there's any slope that's too long to go up, then you just do a melee, or you do not a melee slide. You do the skywalk, and it will get you up the object. But it's also very important when you're doing skywalks that your camera angle is right, because if your camera angle is wrong, you will go in the complete wrong direction.
Yeah,
and that's one of those where it's really important to have
movement during a skywalk is not super trivial, so it's pretty hard to get the hang of. And also, I skipped the moon shadow just now. Normally, you would, or on PC, you would pick up the moon shadow during that campfire, because you would have no pistol at this point since they did the prison break. But since I did the prison break slightly different, I already had a pistol, so I don't need to pick it up.
Yeah.
So right here, I'm gonna slightly extend my hitbox into the abandoned mines so I can actually load it like that.
Yeah,
And then tight
aiming changes Lara's hitbox to be much wider than normal because she effectively separates her feet out and has her bow extended forward, so she gets a really long hitbox. And so if you extend that barely inbounds to trigger the Abandoned Mines load trigger, then we're able to do this whole trick, which allows us to skip a bunch of invisible walls that we'd get stuck behind if we tried to go inbounds normally because Jacob isn't with us.
So I was walking the tightrope right there. If I went too far left, and I would end up inbounds, and I would be soft locked. But if you saw to my right, I was right next to the void, and you would fall out and die.
Yeah, you don't have much space to maneuver there. Some of the more aggressive speedrunners will jump roll through there.
Yeah, I haven't leveled up. I have not ascended the ranks to start.
I don't do it either. Don't worry, I don't do it either.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
I just sprint. I don't jump roll. I'm too paranoid about accidentally falling into the abyss. Because if you fall there, you have to start the whole thing over from the campfire.
Yeah, it's not fun. Oops. Alright, so I'm gonna... Kind of a side effect with the console route.
Wait, he was still in stealth? What? He was facing you. How is that the stealth kill?
So, downside to the console route is that you're actually pretty limited on ammo. You're much more limited than the PC runners, just because of, again, the way I've done the
you have to kill more enemies, which spends more ammo, and it's slow to loot the enemies. So, because they have to kill more enemies on the console route, they end up spending more ammo, which then results in them.
And just because I don't pick up the Moon Shadow as well, I think you get like an extra 10 bullets to pick up the Moon Shadow, but since we skipped the Moon Shadow, I only have 7 right now, instead of whatever you would get with picking it up.
Yeah. Thank you, Mari. I forgot which one it was, and thank you so much for reminding me. I appreciate it. It's Crafting Mastery that gives you extra arrows. Which is also the one that gives you access to the other upgrade levels on your weapons.
So right here is it's a pretty different routes than what PC would do, and I hate this out of bounds. This is the worst out of bounds in my opinion.
This one sucks. This is one of my run killers.
Yeah, and then you have to like.
Mine as a whole sucks.
This is kind of random how long it takes too, but you just jump into this corner and you'll eventually go through like that. Yeah. So we're gonna navigate underneath, right here.
I don't like this. The whole Abandoned Mines is just a really obnoxious area.
This is honestly
only because there's so many tricks to do, and they're all hard.
Honestly, the Abandoned Mines is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the run. It's actually really difficult.
Well, I can understand for you.
And I'm not even doing all the strats that I could be doing.
No, you're doing less than half of them.
Yeah.
It's just the mines is probably the hardest actual area to execute in the entire run. For any percent.
This ladder, by the way, that's what I navigated underground to load in. But on PC, you could just like do an up clip into that wall, and you don't even need to load the mine or the ladder. And again, that is technically possible to do on console, but it's
one of the only up clips that's possible on console. I think there's like 2 or 3. It's one of them.
Yeah, it's so incredibly inconsistent. I think I've ever only gotten it like twice in my life. So yeah.
So bored. You're wondering how we find these? We find these by being way too curious and bored with this game and just hating areas and like, how can we do this faster? And then we throw ourselves at objects until Lara decides to go through, and that's how we find these things.
Yeah, honestly, out of bounds exploration is one of my favorite things in this game, and pretty much in any game. I just love exploring out of bounds, and that's basically the key to finding new strats. Just exploring out of bounds and seeing what can be done.
In fact, I actually found one because there was a section of a game that was so boring and annoying to do that I was like, "Can we skip this?" And then I accidentally clipped through a wall. It was like, "Oh, what can we do with this?" It didn't end up going anywhere, but it was great. And then another time we had a trick that we did that was really stupid and annoying to do. and I wanted to do it. I just wanted to find a safer way to do it. Spent about 3 hours and found an entirely separate method.
So this area, we're supposed to break down both sides of the door, but we only did one, so the door kind of glitches out, and you could just kind of jump through it.
It's pretty great. The door kind of breaks just a little bit. The door's a
Yeah,
little
you're
broken.
supposed to go to the right side first, but you don't actually need to do the right side. It's only intended to do the left, so we just skip the right side.
The left is mandatory to trigger the cutscene to even be able to get into this next section. If you were to clip through those walls, if you were to clip through the doors, this cutscene wouldn't load and the next area wouldn't load properly.
So this clip is actually really precise, and
On console it is. It's not as bad on PC. Did you get it first try?
No, I don't even know what just happened. I somehow, like, I guess I clipped through, but I wasn't expecting to clip through.
Yeah, and you were just holding back. Yeah, you did get it first try. Okay. Or that was second try, but... so the problem with this clip is that once you get through the wall, there's a very small puddle of water that you have to land in, or you fall into the void and die. I barely grabbed the edge of it in my run. I actually almost missed.
This is a horrible clip.
Yeah, on console, this is a really hard trick to do, and weapon switching is the most consistent way to do it, which is what Fallen discovered.
Go through. You know, what's kind of funny is entering this area, I actually might have been on world record pace, because I lost a lot of time in the abandoned mines. Wow,
I mean, well, don't forget, you also didn't have a crash, so you're doing fine so far. And it's fine. Like I'm sure in your other record you lost some more time too, because you lost a lot of time in the 104.
Yeah.
And then
you
improved on it. Yeah. If you get stuck on the wall, jump. That'll get you out of being stuck. So.
Okay, I'll give this like 2 more attempts, and then I'm just gonna do the backup.
Okay, 1 more try. Okay, back up.
Hey, final try. Okay.
Yeah, before get it on the you did get it on the final try. Let's go! He got it. Oh, I also implemented your other method for the for my run.
Oh yeah.
So usually the other route was to go around the right side. Fallen was like, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we just go left?" And it ends up being much faster to go left.
All right. Well, that definitely killed all hopes of potential war, but
I don't believe that.
I highly doubt I was gonna get world record anyways. But oh well.
There's still a chance. You just need to have faith.
No, there's definitely not a chance.
I have faith. Okay.
If I can match every single gold, then maybe.
Do you want me to go open it and see how you're doing right now? Because I'll do that. I'll go check right now.
Yeah, what is the ridgeline? The ridgeline.
I am going to open it right now. Just hold.
Yeah, so we basically just glanced over literally everything we just did. So that clip, it skips approximately, like, what would you say, like maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half of casual gameplay.
Oh, it's so much. Okay, what's your time right now? What are you at? Okay,
so
you're about 3 minutes behind. Your ridgeline split was 35:40. You got the ridgeline in this at about 37:30.
Yeah, so we're actually entering the flooded archives
through the backside.
Yeah. So we need to enter the flooded archives because we need to destroy a statue, and for some reason that statue is tied to...
It's tied to Jonah spawning, that's why, so that we can get to the research base at all.
So that was a precise flip I just did. I needed to land on like a tiny ledge, or else I would have fallen into water, and I would have to retry it.
Yeah.
So I got my first try, and that's really nice. And now I'm just swimming through space.
So the way that you're normally supposed to gain access to the ridgeline is from entering Geothermal Valley, you need to do that, complete the Acropolis, return to Geothermal Valley, do a stealth segment, do the entirety of Flooded Archives, and then you gain access to Ridgeline. We said, screw that, Ridgeline gives us access to everything, and so we go to the Ridgeline instead, because it's faster.
Yeah, it's funny how large of an area the Geothermal Valley is, and we use it in the speedrun merely as just passing grounds.
And
like, so much you do in Geothermal Valley casually, but we're just like, nah, we barely set foot into it.
Well, yeah, pretty much in the speed run, the only time they actually, in any percent, the only time they deal with Geothermal Valley is they enter, go to the ridgeline, leave it to go to the archives, and then re-enter it after exiting the archives to just be to be finished. So, actually, you don't, because you go to the ridgeline, go back to the archives to get the quest update, and then go back. So they spend maybe 3 or 4 minutes total in Geothermal Valley, which is supposed to be the biggest hub area in this game.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger than Soviet installation, and it's not quite bigger than Katesh.
That should clear the way a bit.
Are you going to go down and pull it? I was going to say.
Yeah, so this is where we need to be in order to actually progress through the game. We need to destroy this statue.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
statue of the prophet.
I hope I get a barrel launch. That'll be cool.
You're not going to get the barrel launch.
Should I do one barrel strat?
No, don't do one barrel strat. Do not do... If you want to, you can save it and do an exhibition of it at the end. If you want to make a save here and do it later,
I
fine.
actually do have a save here. Oh, I wasted my last arrow. Oh well. I do have a save here. I can... If we have time or something, then I'll try the one barrel strat.
I mean, it's just funny when it works.
Yeah.
Awful when it doesn't.
No, I choked the barrel launch.
You turned it the wrong way.
Oh.
Oh, no. So if you turn it the right way, then there's a chance
This way.
that one of the barrels gets launched, and it's really funny. But
Yeah,
it ended
so-
up not happening.
So since we entered this area in a slightly unconventional manner, I need to
Slightly.
destroy the barrels in a specific way, because I'm gonna be kind of doing... What is the glitch called? You're the only one that calls it the correct...
It's skip travel storage.
Yeah. Everyone else calls it something different, but I think the true name is skip travel storage.
There's no name for it besides archives exit is what everyone calls it, and it's like it's not even.
I mean, I call it the not so wrong warp, because it looks like a wrong warp, but it's not really a wrong warp. So anyways, I'm going to take control of the campfire menu during this cutscene, and I'm essentially just going to be fast traveling when I'm not supposed to. But since I take control of it right now...
So the way it works, I'm going. This is a really complex explanation. The way it's supposed to work is that when the statue falls, there is a short amount of time where Lara is free to take any action that she wants. And what happens is when we skip the cutscene, it gives Lara a checkpoint at the base of the statue, which then starts the running section. But whenever Lara stands up from a campfire, she also gets a checkpoint. And by initiating a skip travel, we tell the game we want to go to this location, and then Lara stands up from the campfire, which gives her a checkpoint. But the game doesn't let her skip travel because she's not technically at the campfire. She's in the middle of the run sequence. And because there's a timer on the run sequence, Lara dies because of the timer. And then it spawns her back at the campfire because that's where her most recent checkpoint is. And then when you sit at a campfire and stand up, then the game's like, oh yeah, no, we need to skip travel because she's at the campfire. So then it initiates the skip travel. But the problem then becomes, because you were in the run section, they are now forever locked out of using skip travels for the rest of the game, but they don't care. They don't need skip travels anymore.
Yeah,
And
so...
now you just brute force your way to the end of the game.
Yeah, so bored. We basically skipped like maybe 2 hours of casual gameplay, because we did a clip to get out of bounds to get to the ridgeline campfire, which you're not supposed to do until after you do the Acropolis and you obtain the Atlas.
So the order of operations when you finish mines is go to Geothermal Valley at the Valley Farmstead campfire, go to the fire tower, get fire arrows to light the tower, go gain the shotgun, enter the Acropolis, complete it, enter the Geothermal Valley 2 section, which is the stealth section before entering Archives, complete all of Archives, do the run, and then end up coming this way and make your way over to the Ridgeline campfire. That's what's supposed to happen. We said, that's slow, so we glitched our way up to the Ridgeline, went through the back of Archives, did just the final bit of the puzzle, and then skip traveled back to the ridgeline to avoid a really long exit. And then now we're done.
We
never come back to Geothermal Valley ever again.
The Geothermal Valley is merely a passing ground.
Yeah, like I said, they spend less than 5 minutes in Jithermo Valley across the entirety of the run, which is funny because it's supposed to be the largest hub area of the game. Because you're supposed to come here 3 times, which is the most you go to any of the hubs, because you go to Soviet installation twice, you go to Jithermo Valley 3 times, and Katestra only need to be there once.
I'm up by the old copper mill overlooking the gulag.
And all 3 of those are hub areas, which is funny to say call Katestra hub area, but it's so big. You don't actually have to make arrows for the broadhead climbing arrow. You just have to be aiming at the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna craft arrows anyways because I refuse to do terrible fight without any arrows.
Oh, Board, what's your favorite part? If you say it's Acropolis, I'm gonna have problems with you. Because the Acropolis sucks. Except for Duck Hunt. That's the best part. And also the stealth section, we just don't do it because it's slow and boring.
All right, so coming up is another slight console versus PC difference. So on PC, you would actually get out of bounds later.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you would hit some loads that I'm actually going to be skipping since I clip out of bounds sooner. So to compensate for those loads that I miss, I'm going to be jumping inbounds slightly earlier than what PC would do.
He's going to jump inbounds to get the loads to happen, then go right back out of bounds to continue maneuvering around the area.
Also, apparently that clip that I just did is actually incredibly difficult on PC.
Oh, it's so hard. So that's one of the few times. That's one of the few times where having the higher FPS hurts rather than helping.
Yeah, so about right here is where PC would get out of bounds. Our paths would meet up right here.
Yeah. So
we're going to diverge slightly in a little bit.
What PC does is they go up, they trigger the cutscene where Lara enters the research base cave, and then they do an upclip from inside because they're judging it based on in-game time. The time in the cutscene doesn't count against the total runtime. And so it's very nice to be able to do that because it actually saves time. But what Colin just did is he got really close to do it in a trigger for the rest of research base to load.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that little bit you just did was to go force it to load.
Board, I'm just going to give you a teaser, but you're going to get a nice view of the Lost City.
That's an understatement.
I'll leave it at that. You'll get a nice view.
That's an understatement, calling it a nice view.
Hey, guys. Oh, rest in peace.
That's kind of great. Yeah, Rip Bambi.
All right, so I'm going to clip through this bush, which actually can be kind of inconsistent, but I got it really quickly.
Kind of, quote-unquote, inconsistent. I actually didn't get this when I was doing my run. I tried it like for a minute or two and never got it, and then just took the slow path. The fact is, this doesn't even save that much time to just going around the other way. For 100%, it only saves a little bit because it changes the movement of the enemies in the last section.
Okay, and this is where the PC routes would meet up with console.
Yeah, so PC would have stayed out of bounds. No, they would have stayed out of bounds and never would have gone back in bounds.
Yeah.
So he went back in bounds to make research base load the second half. And then had to go through a cutscene and do extra clips to get out of bounds. Where he actually went out of bounds is supposed to be a backup on PC if you happen to go in bounds at that portion. And also here, this may look like he's kind of just jumping around wildly, but he's avoiding very, very, very many death planes.
Yeah.
There's so many death planes here, it's unreal. If you happen to jump at, on these rocks in a specific spot, you'll actually hit the top of hit the bottom of a death plane and just Lara will instantly die. You'll have to do the whole thing over again. Oh, it's the worst.
All right, and now we enter terrible fights, which has killed many runs.
Skipped 90% of research base, just decides to do the end.
Surrounded. Got to do this carefully.
So the problem with console is that it's actually very hard to hit that guy's face because of all the fog and smoke.
Do you turn on survival instincts?
I do turn on survival instincts, and it's still incredibly difficult to see.
I didn't see his glow. Interesting.
Oh, believe me, I turned him on. So there are a lot of enemies alive, which is actually really unfortunate.
Oh, that's not good. There's 3 dudes lived?
So this is like one of the few RNG portions of the run. This run is actually very little. There's very little RNG in this.
This is the only RNG portion of the run, because it has to do with how the enemies maneuver after you shoot the first guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really random, which is really stupid.
I'm hoping that they'll all cluster up and that I'll kill them all with this can.
But sometimes
there's typically one guy that walks to the right, which is fine because I just shoot that one.
That was a good one because you killed 5 dudes. And then those two, so there should be 1 guy left.
Please reload. We'll just do that. That's fine.
Oh, there's 2 guys left. There's 1 more.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Oh, no, there isn't. Never mind.
I'm really low on ammo, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'll be fine. I have plenty of.
Hey, you picked up like 7 cloth, okay? So you're fine.
Run saber.
There's more than 6 enemies. There's 11 because more drop in, and actually there's more than 6 that start there because there's the 3 together, and then there's 5 around, so there's 8, and then another 4 drop in, so there's 12 guys.
Only Jacob can save Jonah now. We have to get him back.
I'm pretty sure there's 12. Does that sound right? Fallen, does that sound right?
I don't know. I just kill people. I really don't know.
I just shoot them till they're dead. Let's see. What time do you got now? So you're entering Ori at 51:14.
Yeah, this is definitely not going to be a world record. This could be sub 105, I think.
I'm checking.
Sub 106.
Yeah.
Depending on how.
You're about 4 minutes behind your PV or behind your world record. You're about 4 minutes.
Yeah. So this section is. It's probably one of the hardest sections of the game.
The Ori?
A strat that I didn't do last marathon. I'm going to be doing the extended.
Are you doing the full out of bounds? You're doing a. Oh wait, what? You're doing extended aerodynamic?
Look, I got to do something new every marathon.
That requires an upclip, but okay.
Well, no, we do a console does a ghost.
Oh, no, I haven't seen the console method.
Oh well, you're gonna see it today.
So here, Fallen is using a different out of bounds than I did. So he's hanging around the rocks here, which allows them to actually get out of bounds and avoid doing the last climbing section like I did. But it's also much harder. Because you have to do a very precise fall there to not accidentally land on other geometry.
All right,
Fallen is done with Ori. Ori is finished.
Yeah, that we skipped a huge puzzle thing, but coming up is aerodynamic, and I'm going to be jumping almost inbounds, but close enough inbounds where I get XP, and that XP is going to give me the grapple hook, which will allow me to do airwalking.
So you get the wire spool for completing the Acropolis, and because we skipped the Acropolis, we don't get it, but we kind of need it.
Yeah, so right here,
to be able to complete the game, we need it for 2 spots.
I'm going to be jumping very close inbounds and next to a death plane. So,
for some reason, there's a trigger to give you the wire spool if you don't have it, and it's really weird.
So that was very, very close. I just missed it.
Yeah, I think you actually hesitated in the air for a second, and that's why. There you go.
So here is the ghost walk, which apparently Genesis hasn't seen. But we're going to disassociate Lara from the camera, and that allows me to get up here, just like that.
Yeah. So a ghost walk is whenever the camera separates from Lara, and a lot of times the camera will try to get back to Lara, but sometimes you can make it so that Lara will go back to the camera.
All right, so right here is the sort of new glitch, the airwalk.
Oh, so you're doing the airwalk, not Ice Age?
Oh, first try. So I just did a 1-frame trick. I grappled the ledge on the
Oh
same,
my god.
and that allows me to do this.
Yeah. So,
So
the
now
way
the game-
airwalks work.
Yeah, you can explain it.
The way airwalks work is that when you throw the grapple axe, Lara is intended to attach to the wall and go over to the grapple axe. But if you end a jumping animation on the exact same, we're not sure if it's 1 or 2 frames. I think it's 2 frames, but they keep saying 1 frame. I think it's 2. If you land within 1 or 2 frames of actually like hitting the wall, the game doesn't know what to do with Lara, and so she'll be able to walk on wall or walk on air, hence why it's called an airwalk. And this actually is one of the only tricks that we found in Shadow first, and then realized it was compatible in Rise. And it's in Shadow, there's usually a visual trigger. Here, it's an audio trigger that's super hard to hear when you get it, so we just kind of have to hope that we get it.
You can actually kind of look at what the animation of the grapple does, and that can kind of give you a tell. Like if you know exactly what animation is,
Problem with that.
that works, then
There's
that's
a-
pretty much
Yeah. So the problem with that, though, is that the animation will actively change depending on your location on the ground.
Yeah,
So you have to be in exactly the same spot every single time to get the same
that is
animation.
true.
So
So I'm
that's why it's a little bit risky.
So I've just basically extended the airwalk so I can get up here.
Yeah. The
I can-
airwalk only ends if Lara ever jumps or grabs onto a wall.
I think meleeing also does it too. I'm not.
No, it doesn't. Meleeing does not end it.
So we're gonna enter this cutscene. Okay, it's gonna get delayed because we did that, and this cutscene is kind of broken. Okay, there we
It's
go.
really funny. It's really funny.
And that's just a side effect of doing that airwalk path. And by the way, the Lost City is not quite yet finished loading in. You'll see the
Yeah.
amazing Chamber of Souls right here.
Do you think you could
Yeah, it's great that everything takes a billion years to load when you break it. It's fantastic. I love this game. I love it, but I also kind of hate it.
Yeah. So see the Chamber of Souls, guys. There it is, right there. No, you don't see it yet. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Chamber of Souls? The divine source has to be there.
Oh, I was on a bit of a delay. Whoops. Let's reset that to live.
And the funny thing is that this area still isn't properly loaded all the way, because you can see to the right, it's kind of just blank. Like there's nothing really there. But interestingly, though, the game still works. There's just no backdrop, which is fine.
Signal bells. I should take these out. The deathless are patrolling the streets. Got to stay out of sight.
I think this route is actually new. I don't think I did. I think I did the old route last marathon. So right here is a slightly kind of new strat.
Which they discovered after we implemented this route in 100% for going out here. Then they tried to use this to try to figure out how to get around stuff faster. This ends up being about 17 seconds faster than the old route if you don't die. Does that sound right? I think it's 17.
It's a lot more on console because we have like loads and everything.
I think on PC it's 17 seconds. On console it's something.
It's probably close to like
20
30.
or 30. Yeah. I think it's 30 seconds on console, 17 on PC. But this saves a lot of time because normally you'd have to go to the gate, there's a cutscene, clip through the gate, do an out of bounds, and then you'd end up here. But instead, we just do this one trick, and then we end up in the end of this area anyway.
So this part, I'm really close to a death plane. I'm right above it, and I just avoided it. Right,
Yeah,
that's the spot right there. 'Cause
That's
you're right above the
frame perfect. That jump, by the way, to get over the wall is frame perfect. If
All right,
you don't
so-
get that jump, she will hit the death plane, you'll die, and you'll have to start the whole trick over again.
So right here, we're going to do another airwalk. And a thing about airwalking is you actually lose height during the glitch. You lose more height on console, interestingly.
It's directly related to how many frames you have. The higher your frame rate, the less height you lose. It's very weird. This doesn't make these tricks make no sense.
That should
But
work.
they work, and that's all that matters. All that matters is that they work. Oh, that
How many
looks good.
tries did this take you, by the way? Or did you do this one?
I did. It took me like 7 tries. But the one in the Ancient Cistern took so many more. The one in Ancient Cistern lost me like 2.5 minutes. It was pretty bad.
Okay, so like I said, well, this airwalk is going to. We're going to be skipping the entire ascent of the tower.
By the way,
So we're going to need to get some heights.
You're less than 2 minutes behind your world record.
Am I really?
Yep.
Jeez.
You might get it if you have a good final fight. You might.
My infight is incredible. No.
It was godlike.
It was godlike, yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So yeah, like I said, we're gonna be skipping the entire ascent. So to compensate, we're gonna need to actually climb this glacier, and we do that. Well, we do that on console by weapon toggling. For some reason, that gives us heights.
Yeah, so that's how they do up flips.
Like I said earlier, we're gonna get a good view of the Lost City.
Oh yeah, Board. Do you love how the Lost City looks? By the way. Oh, thank
a little bit more.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the $30 donation.
Oh,
Very
nice.
much appreciated.
And we're off. So that's where we need to go. So as you can see, the Lost City is way down there. It's a nice view.
Yeah. So actually, what's interesting enough is that on console, because they lose so much more height than PC, they have to get much, much higher. But then also, because they lose so much height, they have to go to a much, much closer area to go back in bounds. And you almost lose all your height, don't you?
Yeah,
Quite
a bit of height. Yeah. Interesting thing about airwalking on console, you might notice my camera kind of jerking to the right. That's actually not me. That's just the game, because it thinks I'm still hooked onto the ledge. So normally the ledge would be facing that direction where the camera is kind of jerking away. So it's just constantly trying to turn the camera automatically.
Whenever you initiate an airwalk, the game will always try to fight for camera controls to put them back where they're supposed to, which is facing the wall that you did the jump on. So
I'm really low on ammo actually, but we'll be fine. Although I kind of wish I had more pistol ammo, but whatever.
Yeah. So Anonymous said, enjoying this year's marathon. Here's a little boost towards your stretch goal. We very much appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Annan. Alright, so this first fireball that's going to be shot, you're not necessarily intended to shoot it, but you actually...
You're not intended to. You're not supposed to know that you can.
Yeah, but
they don't do anything to stop you.
I almost missed.
Did you miss it?
No, I almost missed.
Oh my god, dude. At least pick up grenade arrows.
Yeah, so right now I'm just going to kind of camp out next to these infinitely spawning grenade arrows, because grenade arrows are extremely overpowered, and I'm just going to spam the enemies.
They're not as overpowered as poison arrows, though, but they're infinitely respawning. If they weren't infinitely respawning, this fight would be a nightmare. But because they respawn infinitely, their rules for respawn is that they will only spawn if you don't have any that you picked up in your inventory. So in order to make it so that they don't, or so that they respawn, you have to pick up 2, fire both of them, and then you can pick up the batch again. And that will continuously give you more. I think there's one on the ledge above you.
Yeah. That's okay, though, because I actually really wanted bullets. And now I now have those bullets. So we're good.
Yeah. So, the rules for picking up these arrows, it's so weird. They make no sense. Oh, you don't reload, do you?
Yeah, reloading really only deletes the enemies that could still potentially be alive. And I think it actually makes the flight pattern a bit different.
It does. So what it does is it makes it more uniform and easier to deal with. So there's a good pattern and a bad pattern for his movement.
What? Well...
Yeah, that's why we reload, so that doesn't happen.
Guy's kind of in the way, not gonna lie.
Kind of. Just blew yourself up. Not a care in the world.
Also, shout out to Sophia for killing. Okay, well, for killing the world record run I had a few days ago, she decided to shoot the fireball directly at me instead of the
This
chop.
final fight is legendary.
Yeah, her shots can be kind of wild. I don't know what I just got hit on. Come on, give me a good shot. Thank you. And I didn't choke the shot that time. Okay, so that definitely put me back a bit more. I'm probably like 3 minutes behind now.
30 minutes? Or not 30 minutes?
3 minutes.
Oh, well, let's just say you're at 105 and your record was 103.47. Alright, we're gonna see
PB. I think the last PB, my PB in the marathon was like a 108, mid 108. This could definitely beat it.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, no, you're definitely on pace to beat it. If you have the rest of it work out for you, like, you'll be good.
Yeah, so right here, you're supposed to wait for another fireball to get shot. But first of all, her fireball is going to be kind of wild. And you can actually just shoot arrows into it.
You have to hit it with 5 grenade arrows to kill Constantine.
That was a really good fight.
Oh, that was really... Wow, that was a really good fight. And you left with 1 grenade arrow left.
Yeah, I want 1 grenade arrow to shoot that guy in the face to automatically kill him.
And it also weakens the next guy.
Yeah. And then I'm going to lure these guys, and hopefully they'll take the bait. And I can just get them underneath the Greek fire, and I can kill them that way.
Yeah, so all the Deathless will instantly die to the Greek fire, whereas Lara will just take most of her health and damage.
Nice little quick kill right there. I like that strat. And there we go. And now it's Constantine time. So I don't have any resources, so I'm going to kind of manipulate his AI.
Yeah,
Typically,
so...
you would have explosive cans that you can kind of stun him with, but we don't have those, so with a little bit of precise movement, I can manipulate his AI.
Yeah, it's mainly for the second phase that it matters, because on 100%, we just make a can of explosive grenade, chuck it at him, run up and just hit him. But here, they have to be really careful to not get seen, or he will hunt you through walls. Which is
Yeah,
really
and he has like a bottomless clip, essentially. It's kind of funny when it happens. But I just do a little dance around the pillar, and that was actually pretty much the best.
That was perfect for you. What? That's not even fair. That was almost perfect Constantine movement.
If there's a can on the ground, I'm gonna do it, by the way. Is there a can on the ground?
You're gonna try to do canned?
Nah, I would need to set it up. Yeah, sometimes the can's not there. Oh well. Next marathon. So anyways, time is coming up, by the way. I'm not sure who's taking control of the time.
Forces. So just say time when the cutscene starts.
Yep. And time.
Nice, 1 hour 7:41.
Hey, 7:41, you beat it.
Yeah, that's about a minute faster than the last marathon. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was definitely a 108. So
Yes,
cool.
you did good.
That was also an atrocious final chopper fight.
Yeah, it was like half of your chopper was terrible.
That would have been at least a 106, but
You're dooming him to be mocked by
We're
history.
gonna. It's fine.
How can you let this go? When
all
you're
right.
so close?
So
I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
I'm assuming you're ready for your shadow run, correct?
I am getting the last couple things set up.
We can save them.
I am fixing all the settings because they all got overwritten when it finally finished updating, so I have to fix all the settings.
Yeah.
On the
So
bright side, at least the game works.
Well, I'm loading it successfully. Maybe I need to make sure the initial cutscene starts first. That's step number 1. But yeah, so
we have to do a little switcheroo with me and Genesis's.
Yeah.
How do you say your name? Like
Genesis Probe.
right, but like when, what is it? When you're possessive of something. Genesis is.
I would say Genesis is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that. I mean, you can also say Genesis as a possessive because it ends in the S. So
Yeah, but
in
yeah,
English,
our,
it counts as a possessive just by saying the name.
our runs had to get switched around due to technical difficulties.
Steam decided to try to update Shadow, and it needed to reinstall. First, it needed to install 1 gigabyte of data, and then decided, you know what? Some of your files, 61 of your files, aren't quite functioning properly, so we're gonna have to re-download them. Yeah, that was 27 gigabytes. So thank you, I appreciate. Okay. So we're going to go to a quick intermission while I get this completely set up, and then we'll start. It's gonna take a minute though. So, but I'll try to get it done as quickly as possible. Anything else you want to say, Fallen?
Much, nope. It was fun.
Yeah, she definitely had a good run.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, except for final fight. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was definitely a decent run. Like, it was definitely pretty good. It could have been better, but you definitely only had a couple mistakes towards the end. Everything else.
I PB'd the marathon. It was a marathon PB, so.
Nice.
Yep. All right. So I guess we'll be back shortly with me having Shadow ready whenever that happens.
Yep.